Hey, I'm Mark Guiliana. I'm here at Bird with my band Beat Music. I'm originally from New Jersey, and I still live in New Jersey. I live in Jersey City, just across the Hudson River from New York. I'd like to think that this music has a piece of New York in it. Take our music outside of where it feels comfortable and try to present it to some new people. Tonight, I'm just so lucky to have, my guys with me. We've come a long way. It's Jason Lindner on keyboards, Chris Morrissey on electric bass, Steve Wall doing electronics. And I think the most important thing, aside from the music itself, is really the relationship that we share. We've spent a lot of time playing together, and I think that's irreplaceable. That's the one thing that can't be fabricated.
I play bass, I try to serve the song that Mark writes, and I try to play as best I can, and interact with the guys, and as Mark mentioned before, that's one of the luxuries of having a history with the same group of people, is that becomes less and less of an obstacle, so you can just now I just kind of get excited to see what kind of interaction is going to occur.
When we play with Beat Music, I'm the one who is in charge of the harmonic function. There are parts that are set with specific parts, and those are, even the sounds I'm using, I program them specifically for each song on the Dave Smith Mofo X4, which I bring on tour. But then there are other sections that are open, and there's a role. There's we know there's going to be a sample playing, or there's going to be some keys playing, but it's as to what will be played specifically, it's up to us in the moment.
Recently I've been informed that in our necks, in everyone's neck, you have a neck, I have a neck.
There's our spirit animal.
And it's in there, and you know, some people have big, wide necks, and maybe their spirit animal is a buffalo. And you know, I have kind of a small, like, vaguely bird-like neck, and that might mean that my spirit animal is a cobra snake or maybe a river otter. But either way, if you cross me, I will attack your spirit animal directly right into your neck.
Sometimes what I feel like I'm bringing is some interesting sonic material, like just the sound of people speaking makes people pay attention in a different way. Sometimes it's actually about what they're saying. Sometimes it's just more about the tone of how it sounds, their voice, or the effects that I'm running. But a lot of times I think that my role is really functional in that it allows Mark, Chris, and Jason to have moments where they don't feel like they have to be playing constantly the entire time. You know, so they could take moments to like regroup and think about their re-entrance or perhaps play off of somebody else and not feel like they have to be the driving force a lot of the time. And I really like that because it makes it more special when they're back in.
I absolutely have a wide variety of influences. What brought me to music, what inspired me to first start playing drums were bands like Nirvana and the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and that's still as important to me as the more, sophisticated influences are, like jazz and stuff like that. So it's important to me to try to always be allowing all of my influences to coexist, and then it's just finding a way for all of these influences to make sense. But when I was younger, I used to think if I'm playing jazz, I can't use any of my Nirvana influence. But that's a shame because I'm removing a part of my personality. So I'm always trying to find the most natural way to just let the influences coexist.
Discovery Houston, press 218. Space Shuttle Discovery. Discovery Houston, Space Shuttle Discovery. Discovery Houston, Space Shuttle Discovery. Roger all, Discovery. Space Shuttle Discovery. Roger all, Space Shuttle Discovery. Discovery Houston, Roger all, Space Shuttle Discovery. Discovery Houston, Roger, Space Shuttle Discovery. Discovery, Roger all, Discovery.
Atmosphere in Bird is actually very similar to it had a New York energy to it, so it was very seamless. For speaking for myself, I really felt comfortable, and I think the guys would agree. The music, it actually really relies on the energy of the people and the spirit in the room. We like to leave room inside the music to let it be affected by the outside elements. So when the people are so welcoming and so energetic, it's very helpful.
I love the ethnic mix in Holland. I think it's very interesting. I think it gives a feeling of diversity and balance. It's not homogenous. And I like places like that.
The show was fantastic. Everybody involved in putting the show on has been great. The crowd was awesome, hanging on things just like I do. I'm fortunate to be on stage and see my buddies do amazing things, and the crowd was really appreciative of that too,
I actually used to think that maybe to actually do things to try to get to the people, and sometimes I found that would maybe fall short because it was on my mind of trying to get them. So I found that actually looking inward, inside the music and the band, that could be much more successful.